Hey everybody, failed entrepreneur. I make crappy videos every day, so make sure you subscribe so you can argue with me. And today is going to be very, very messy. I want to talk about General Michael Flynn and his recent charges being dropped by the Justice Department with regards to his lying to the FBI. Whew, strap in your seatbelts, right? So let's go rewind back. Hit the rewind button. So Michael Flynn, people forget, was actually very high up in the Obama administration. He was Obama's director of defense intelligence for about 2 years, 2012 to 2014. So he was pretty high up and did not get along very well. He was kind of forced out, retired by Obama in 2014. If you listen to the Obama side of the story, Flynn was just kind of sloppy, messy, argumentative. Flynn has gone on record saying he felt he wasn't really listened to, and he was warning or wary of vulnerability to ISIS and terrorism, and the country wasn't as safe as Obama maybe thought we were. Remember, Obama is kind of when Syria and ISIS started and got messy, and that was back when he was around. So there's some dirt and kind of bad blood between those two, which is very important, and we'll come back to. Afterwards, Flynn was a advisor for Trump's campaign, and then when Trump won election, Trump brought him on as his national security advisor. Basically, he would be in charge of all of the Patriot Act stuff, surveillance, wiretapping, spying. That's also kind of important. And pretty soon afterwards, he got into trouble. He was interviewed by the FBI, and he was found to be lying during this interview. You cannot lie to the FBI. That's a no-no, which he should have known. This came to light. Trump asked him to resign, and kind of ironically, Trump said, I can't have people who lie to me in my administration. And so he left, but there was no really bad blood between the two, and it was kind of on friendly, positive terms. Afterwards, FBI charged, or the Department of Justice charged Flynn for lying to the FBI, and kind of strangely he said, guilty. I plead guilty. He didn't really argue, which is strange. Things are starting to get a little strange here, as you can see. You would think if you were being charged with a serious crime, you would do everything you legally could to stay out of jail and stay out of trouble and preserve your freedom. But Flynn basically said, yeah, you caught me. I lied. And then after that is when some of the legal wrangling with his defense and lawyers came into play. Then, about 2 days ago, the Department of Justice dropped the charges. Flynn is now a free man and under no trouble at all, I guess. And now things are going to get messier. So that's basically kind of what happened. Obama has come out in the last day, or maybe last 24 hours. I guess it was a private conversation that became public, but he's pretty furious, I guess. This, according to Obama, could derail or ruin the whole justice system in our country. You can't lie to the FBI and get away with it with no consequences. So he's not very happy that Flynn is getting kind of, I guess you could say, off the hook. And people on that side, or this is just more evidence of Trump's corrupted cronyism and his destroying the Justice Department and running the country into the ground. And this is just, it's a scandal, and it's conspiracy. It's basically a conspiracy also, that Trump is just trying to protect people close to him, and it's nefarious, and there's more than meets the eye. That's unproven. That's conspiracy. Okay. However, I'm not surprised. Actually, I kind of saw this coming. I kind of wonder what took so long, because there's another conspiracy out there, a different point of view, and I'm not saying that is true either. Actually, in all actuality, this is probably just a big nothing burger, and it's just, there's nothing going on for either way. It's just there's nothing more than meets the eye going on, and that's probably the likely case. But it's interesting the other point of view. So this is where it gets a little messy. And again, if I am wrong, I apologize. Please try and correct me below. There's a different theory that's been going around for a while that basically Flynn, being high up in Obama's administration, kind of knew some maybe potentially dirty laundry that was going on. He knew some of the secrets that Obama was doing, and he didn't like that. Maybe that's why he was let go. Maybe that's why there's some bad blood between the two. And he wanted justice. He wanted, accountability. He wanted maybe to expose some of these things that Obama was doing that maybe he shouldn't have been doing. Again, it's curious why he was put in charge of the national security, a national security advisor when Trump brought him into his administration, where he would be in charge of looking into all the secret stuff that we do, right? Surveillance, spying, everything like that. Anyway, basically he knew he was lying to the FBI. He wanted to get himself arrested, which I don't buy that. I think it's just, if there's any truth to this, it was just taking advantage of circumstances. But anyway, the reason he pled guilty is because he wanted to spill the beans. He wanted to share the information he knew, but he had to introduce it into the system in a proper legal way through proper channels. And just, hey, I heard this and I saw this. It's just kind of hearsay at that point, and it's not like legal evidence. But now, since he's, pled guilty to a crime and he's in a court of law, anything and everything he says now becomes kind of evidence, and now he can kind of take his time and go through and detail out in great detail everything he saw, or maybe everything he did in Obama's administration. And again, this was all just some kind of, not cover up, but a very twisted way of exposing what was going on in Obama's administration. That's basically the theory. What's kind of maybe interesting is that some people have put this out on places like Twitter and talking about it and sharing this. And I've read it because, again, it's interesting. But some of those tweets were liked by General Flynn's son and President Trump's son, who liked and retweeted some of those tweets. Now, again, it could just be they're trolling, or they thought it was funny, or they want to protect their fathers. What son wouldn't? Or, maybe they're in on this. If it's true, maybe they kind of know what's really going on. And by doing a like and retweet, it's just their way of kind of like wink, wink. Maybe this is kind of more true than you might know. Again, probably nothing. But if you are in the business of connecting dots, and let's be honest, both sides are trying to do that right now, maybe some evidence there might be going, some more than meets the eye going on here, more stuff going on behind the scenes. It's also interesting that the reason these charges were dropped in the first place is documents have just been released also that show the FBI was kind of gunning for Flynn during this investigation. They really weren't trying to find any information. I guess they knew everything already. They were just trying to get Flynn in trouble. They were trying to get him fired. I think the document specifically says, are we going to try and get him fired with these questions? And I guess the people who started the Flynn investigation is that Andrew McCabe guy and Comey, FBI holdouts from Obama's time in office, who no longer are working because they got mixed up in the whole Russia thing, which is what Flynn was in trouble with in the first place. He was talking to Russia, which is a no-no, right? So it's the reason the charges were dropped is because it was entrapment. The FBI was kind of not in good faith, or not with good intentions, trying to go after Flynn. And it was kind of, Flynn was set up, which is what people were saying from the beginning on the Wright conspiracy. The documents that were just released seem to show that the setup was indeed in the bag. So that is interesting. What else is interesting, I'm not saying again it's true, but it's interesting, is that there's a common thing here. Russia and Obama and the FBI just seems to be coming up all the time in these things that we know about. And what people don't know is, or maybe not many people know, is that once Mueller's investigation and the Russiagate thing kind of ended, a second more secretive investigation was launched after a guy named Durham, the Durham investigation, right? So Mueller was just trying to see if there was any hacking of the election, any conspiracy to collude with Russia and Trump to win the election. That's what he was trying to do. There was a lot of evidence that there was, but Mueller, I mean, you can say whatever you want. At the end of the day, Mueller just came out and said, there's nothing I can act on. Nothing actionable happened. There's a lot of smoke, basically, but Mueller said, there's no fire. There's nothing I can act on here. Nothing happened. If you're still angry about that or happy about that, that's just, I'm going off the facts. Nothing happened with the Mueller investigation. The Durham investigation is going into the origins of the Russia investigation. Where did this evidence come from? Where did these claims start? Who knew what and when did they know it? So basically, where did this story of Trump and Russia come from? This is still going on right now. And you hear about it every now and then in the news. Every time I hear Durham mentioned, the investigation seems to be getting bigger, broader, more expansive. Durham, from what I've read, has a lot more powers to really get in the nitty-gritty and investigate and going to different countries and really kind of prying. And just because of, I guess, his position, he's what, a IG, investigative general, and just this is where I'm not as up to speed as I should be. But Mueller was just kind of trying to collect information that was out there, while Durham he has the power to, again, really go deep and do indictments and really, from what's being told, there's some kind of serious stuff going on here. Coincidence that Flynn is pardoned as the Durham investigation is ongoing, but maybe getting close to an end. I don't know. But again, are those dots connected? I don't know. Are they dots? Probably. And what I'm trying to say is, as I wrap it up, is just that I'm not surprised this happened. I don't believe 100% on this kind of right wing, I guess it's what it's been labeled as, conspiracy, because it's unproven. But I will say this, is that every time we get new information or every time new pieces of the puzzle are made public, it just seems to me they do seem to fit a little more neatly into this puzzle, the right wing puzzle, as opposed to the left wing conspiracy puzzle. Both conspiracies, both untrue, both just trying to make the best with the limited information we have. But if Flynn was really a criminal and really did something bad and really needs to be punished, that would seem to fit with the maybe Obama point of view, right? But the fact that he was let go and doesn't seem to be in trouble anymore. Well, first of all, he was entrapped. First of all, he was set up. Still, he lied to the FBI. You can't do that. But that he got let go, that piece of the puzzle seems to fit better into what's going on the right side than the left. And so there's more going on. I think we can all agree on that. One door closes and then another opens up. There's still more to be seen with this. We have not heard the last of Russia. Probably haven't heard the last of Flynn. And we'll definitely be hearing about Durham pretty soon. Again, Obama and Flynn seem to have no last ties, or there's some bad blood between the two. Obama seems to be very upset. I think Obama even warned Trump of bringing Flynn on in the first place. So for whatever reason, Obama seems to not say be scared of this guy, but doesn't want him around at all, which again just seems to maybe fit into that right-wing conspiracy that maybe Flynn knew some things, is trying to share those things, and maybe aiding in the investigation of some of those Russia things. Again, I don't know. Nobody really does. If I'm an idiot, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, leave it in the comments. And like I said, I'd like to know if there's anything else that you know or have heard. But what a tangled web we weave when at first we try to deceive, right? Definitely. That seems to be more fitting today than ever before. So my thoughts on it, like I said, I kind of saw it coming. I'm not shocked, not angry. I kind of expected it. and wondered maybe what took so long. But like I said, that's, if I had to pick a side, that's the one I think is probably maybe more accurate. But that's me. I got things to do today. I know you do too. Thanks for watching, making this far, and I will catch you later. This is Failed Entrepreneur, out.